Hey, gang. You know, I've been thinking about this a little bit here, and we see a lot of things, and those of us who are historians or historical minded tend to get into these arguments. And I think sometimes the question best asked would be, what's your point? Or better yet, the phrase, that's not true. What's your point? Example, oftentimes we'll hear, but a black man was the first slave owner in the colonies, in the U.S. colonies, or what would be become the colonies. And then the question is, we get wrapped up in arguing that's not true and trying to disprove it, when the bigger question is, what's your point? Another one that we've seen lately is whenever anybody is out there and talks about American democracy, we're losing our democracy or anything like that, is speech or on the socials, you get people who are like, we're a constitutional republic, we're not a democracy. And it's just like, first of all, do you even know what that phrase means? Second of all, what's your point? First of all, going back to that phrase, we are a constitutional federal republic. When you leave the federal out, you leave the other layers of governments out. We don't have just one government, a U.S. government. We all have to we actually deal less with the U.S. government than we deal with a local government and a state government and then the federal government. And so you've got to have all parts of that. So if you're going to be so nitpicky as to say, it's a republic, not a democracy, at least get your terminology right. That's problem number one. Number two is, what's your point? Is your point to ignore the then 250 plus years democratizing American politics? Think about it. 1787, first Constitution, or when the Constitution comes out, not first Constitution, the Constitution. The Constitution is written. We are not choosing state senators. The state legislatures are choosing the senators. So it isn't until the 17th Amendment that the popular vote then is within the states for your state senators. Prior to that, the voice in the Senate was supposed to be the interest of the states, not the interest of the people. The people. And I'll use air quotes with the people, because Native Americans aren't voting, women aren't voting, enslaved aren't voting, African Americans aren't voting. There's more not voting than there are voting, because again, in the early national period, it's white, it's male. Some states have a religious component. Some states have a property owning component or a tax paying component. They want to see you have some skin in the game. It's not until it's after the American Revolution, since some states are holding to the ideas of the American Revolution. So they start to go ahead and open that up, letting people, trying to open up the vote. And again, it's still white male, but dropping things like the religious requirement or money requirement or land requirement, something like that. But that's a slow move. And when we say white male, it's white male 21. 18 doesn't get ensconced in the Constitution until much later. Vote for president. Number one, you're not voting for president. You're voting for electors to go to the Electoral College, and the Electoral College then goes ahead and selects the president. But even so, it's the left up to the states as to how that works. And in a lot of states, it's the legislature that's selecting those. As a matter of fact, in the 1824 election, 6 states are still selecting the folks to go to the Electoral College, not opened up to a popular vote in every state. So what is your point when you say it's a constitutional, and you don't say federal, republic? Is your point that you want to go back to that? Are you not understanding the words? Are you not understanding the democratization of American history, where for 250 plus years, we have tried to include more and more people into this democratic experiment? What is your point? And unfortunately, what we lost in that is we get wrapped up in the whole argument. Well, it's like saying it's an apple, not a fruit kind of a thing. So I think, like I said, I think with a lot of these things, when you have someone who comes out with that, in essence, nonsense, what is your point? What point are you trying to make? Do you think we're not a democracy? Do you want to give up your democratic rights that you have? That's the question we should be asking.